2.
One, two. Oh my gosh, so close. He kicked out. He kicked out. He kicked.
Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. At least from this podcast, because we've been away for a little bit, holidays, sickness, but we're here. We made it. We're in a new era of wrestling, apparently, again, with, of course, Monday Night Raw going to Netflix. Raw is Netflix. This will be episode 89 with Brian and Lewis. Of course, I'm Daniel. But yeah, WWE debuts on. How did I do this? There we go. WWE debuts on Netflix, and there were questions there leading into it, especially with streaming, especially what happened on the NFL, and especially with the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, with a lot of lagging and how is this going to work, especially being live. But it looked like it went on seamlessly. No issues on my end. Of course, there were ads, which people were complaining about as well, but we'll get into that. But what do you guys make of the early stages of the Raw debuting on Netflix?
Me personally, I thought the show was good. However, I did end up leaving the show feeling a little bit underwhelmed. But then when I started to think about it and analyze things, I realized that primarily that show wasn't for like viewers like us, people who watch the show on a daily basis. I feel as though, you know, when they debuted on Netflix, they were trying to either attract new viewers, you know,
Which is difficult.
Yeah, I know.
Because everyone already has Netflix, so that's what I would like.
New viewers, or you're trying to attract those casual viewers that you initially lost because of pro wrestling, and now that you debut on a new platform, you can try to get those viewers back. But you know, definitely felt left a little underwhelmed with some of the decisions. But obviously, you know, you love to see Rock, you love to see, you know, John Cena and Roman Reigns, all three of them, you know, kicking off the show. That really kick off the show with kind of those three guys, which are on a lot of people's, you know, Mount Rushmores. You know, you know, you can really tell that they really were, you know, trying to attract viewers. You know, my only thing is they didn't really they didn't really progress any storylines. They ended one with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
Finally.
But for the most part,
Hopefully.
I mean, they also ended the Roman Reigns and Solo. We'll get into that as well. But they didn't really push any storylines forward. So, in my humble opinion, if you're trying to attract new viewers, and you're showing Rock, Roman Reigns, Rock's not going to be there every single week. I mean, John Cena is going to try to be there as many weeks because of his retirement tour. I mean, Roman Reigns, you're only going to get sporadically now leading up to WrestleMania. So I felt as though you're trying to attract new viewers. You should be pushing some of these stories. That way people will want to come back next week. I mean, now people are going to come back next week thinking The Rock is going to be there, and then you're going to start pushing your regular stories and such, and maybe they might not be as interested. But that's just my opinion on it. From what I saw, I love the main event. Main event was a great match, but I just felt as though they should have just pushed a couple of more storylines forward. Just like I said, but once I understood that, okay, this is more about attracting the new viewers and kind of trying to tell everybody what WWE is for some people.
What do you mean, Brian? This isn't for us. Are you telling me to go? Are you telling me to go watch AEW? Is that what you're telling me to do?
Yes. I mean, obviously they were thinking of us. I mean, look at the main event match we got. That main event match was for us. For how good it was. But they already know, as far as fans go, we're always gonna watch regardless. I mean, we've been through some shitty television with WWE in the past, and we still came back every week and watch. So they already got us in the bag, so they know we're gonna watch next week. So, but other than that, like I said, felt a little underwhelmed, but overall, show was good.
For me, I thought it was a great show. I think a little bit touching on what Brian said. For me, I thought there was going to be a little more as far as surprises. I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to see Penta. Just like
on hold, apparently. On hold, according to some reports. On hold.
Well, I saw that's going to be next week with Chad Gable.
Chad Gable, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I mean by on hold. It's on pause for a minute.
But
go ahead. No, go ahead, Lewis. We'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah. As far as like, and I think this whole transition, I think WWE made the right move because first, like, so I started watching it a little bit later, and then I love that it gave me the option to just like go back, you know, watch. I could fast forward. I basically fast forward to those freaking commercials, and it was beautiful. And even better, like when you back out, because I was watching it in my brother's room, and then came down and watched it in the living room, and then I was like, still where I left off. I was like, this thing is perfect. And like, smooth sailing, and I'm like, this is all I want. This is all I need.
Accessibility, flexibility,
streaming, exactly at my fingertips, whatever. So I thought that was great. I thought the show did exactly what it was meant to do, and like Brian said, like it was a lot of like trying to reel in people who, you know, probably have Netflix. I'm like, oh shit, I haven't seen Raw in so long. Yeah, literally, my cousin, who, you know, he watches here and there, like he'll watch a PLE here and there, but then he was like, Raw, like, you know, he doesn't do the week to week, but he's like, Raw's on Netflix. He texted me. I was like, yeah, today's the first episode. So he's like, oh, and then even seeing stuff on social media, like people, you know, probably doing the usual, going through Netflix, and they're like, I haven't seen WWE in years. Who's this? And they're looking at Roman Reigns like, my God, who is this? I need to know. Like this is literally gonna bring in so many eyes to the product. And my only thing is, I hope with more people watching, it doesn't, I guess, change or push certain stories. I guess, I don't know.
It's gonna happen.
I know. And so that's why I'm a little vague. I'm like, oh, this person's becoming such a huge star. People know who they are now, whatever, and you know, this and that, but whatever, that's a different story. But as far as the show goes, yeah, like you said, great to see Rock. Cena, Roman solo match was good. I think kind of a little. We already kind of knew what was going to happen and how that was going to go. I really did like the main event. I was happy that Rhea. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think Rhea was gonna pull it off, because they were gonna drag it out, and I thought this match was gonna be a last woman standing match, but that got changed. And what other matches were there that I'm forgetting?
Jay and Drew McIntyre. We'll get into it.
Yeah, there was a lot, but overall, great show. I think I wanted a few more surprises or returns. I thought we were going to get like Becky, Charlotte, you know, maybe more female stuff.
That's what I meant. Not only pushing storylines, but like bringing people back, more some surprises.
Exactly.
Give us something to like for the
exactly. But I mean, we also got to remember, it was just Monday Night Raw. It was just on Netflix, and obviously it's a monumental thing, and you know, they were hyping it up, and without, you know, The Rock and everybody who was going to be there. But like Brian said, I think for us, we were like, give us a little more, give us some more. You know, we legit are still waiting to see what the hell any of this stuff with The Rock means at all. Hands is just in the air.
He's getting so much shit. It's crazy. Like
we'll definitely get into that in a moment. But my take from it was that I thought it was good. I thought this is what Saturday Night Main Event should have been, with just the production and the value in the matches and stuff like that. Overall, I thought it was good. I thought the presentation was good. Again, as Lewis said, the accessibility of being able to rewind and forward. I was originally watching on my phone, and then I went to my Xbox, and I'm like, okay, it picked up right where I left off. I was like, okay, am I too far behind? No, I can actually catch up and see what's actually going on. So those were good. Those are good touches.
One thing with Peacock I used to hate is like I'd I'd be watching, and then if I backed out by accident, you go back in, it would go back to like where it was live, and I'm like, no, I didn't see this yet. And I'd have to
or if you try to rewind, it wouldn't rewind, and then it would just go forward, and it was just
or like
no problems with that on
too
Netflix.
Far back, we can't go that far, and I'd be like, yo, this is bullshit.
No problem with that on Netflix. Love that. I love that part of it and just the flexibility. I'm like, this is a good move for especially WWE. Apparently, UFC is looking to also go to Netflix, which is another thing that's going to be awesome.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, would be crazy.
So just to have that, I think everything's probably going to try to go through a streaming service now. It's not only going to be Netflix; it can be Hulu, it can be Amazon Prime. I'm sure boxing is going to try to do that at some point.
It's crazy. It's like we're looking at the age of pay-per-views kind of going away.
And I think it's the right thing because it's like you're already getting people in, and then you can just make the money up through ads and gates and stuff like that they can get in. And you'll still have pay-per-view because not everybody has accessibility to Netflix and stuff like that in certain parts and XYZ. But overall, I think it's just going to keep growing. But I just think it's just the accessibility in terms of getting more eyes on the product. Everyone has Netflix. And if you're on a Monday night and then you see all the reminders there, of WWE Raw coming on, and instantly the show is there. So you don't have to wait a week, you don't have to wait a couple days or anything like that. It's already there. So if you missed it or trying to watch it late at night, it's already there. So that accessibility is there. Also, there's a bunch of other stuff that I haven't checked out on Netflix from WWE. They just started adding a whole bunch of stuff from the vault, and it's like, okay, and now this is a whole another avenue that we can look into. Now, I don't think everything is there as yet, but a lot of stuff is there. Like a lot of earlier stuff or older stuff is starting to be put in. So hopefully, I wonder how that's going to be just with how we search for things. If I search for AJ Styles, is it going to bring up something? If I search for Stone Cold Steve Austin in the search, is that going to bring up something? So waiting to see what happens with that. But as for Raw on Netflix, I love the presentation of it. I love the fact that there's the black mat. I don't know if this is something that's going forward, but I think they should do that all the time.
Yeah.
It was just a nice way to just change things up and give it a different look. Even the referees had black shirts on. So I thought that was a touch. But overall, just a new feel for everything. But I thought it was a great thing. I thought it was a good show top to bottom in terms of the wrestling that was provided. The main event, of course, which was just, I thought that was a pay-per-view quality match. I didn't think, I don't know if that was good enough for Raw, but especially with on Netflix and the debut on Raw on Netflix, that was a good one. But let's get into just the overall star of the show. With Triple H and The Rock kicking off on Netflix, obviously they had that promo package with just the history of wrestling and stuff like that, getting into it. Triple H coming out and addressing the crowd, and then The Rock comes out. So what do you guys make about that? Just the intro and The Rock coming out first.
My only gripe is that the intro was great, but I didn't like that they dropped that intro on social media. And I felt like
yeah.
It kind of spoiled it.
I actually personally didn't even. I saw it, but I didn't even watch it because I actually wanted to see it live first. So I ignored it. But I
didn't know that was going to be the intro. I was just scrolling, and then I saw this whole thing like Triple H talking, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Painting thing." And then I see it on the show. I was like,
"You did the sinful thing of going on social media, Lewis." We both.
I didn't know. I mean, this was before it started. So it's not like
man. Yeah, the spoilers are always catching you, man. You're always end up seeing something you're not supposed
but this is the thing. It's like, how are you spoiling stuff before the show even started?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. Because it's just like that's wasted promo.
On whatever, and then I see this whole. It's like WWE. I was like, oh, and then I see the whole thing. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I'll start watching the show, and I'm like,
I saw this already. I saw this already. What the hell is this?
Yeah. I mean, that was my only gripe, but I'm like, that intro is sick. I love the whole that with painting the whole history together and all that stuff. Again, painting the whole picture for people who aren't or haven't been, know about wrestling but are coming back, and they're like, all right, let me see what this is about. That was great, and obviously, bringing out The Rock. Everybody knows The Rock. Everybody loves The Rock. Like, even if you don't follow wrestling, everybody, is interested in what The Rock is doing. So, and obviously this is where he started. So bringing him back in the entrance, it was like a no-brainer. So, yeah, great way to start the show.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Question to the both of you. How do you guys feel about the Rock's presentation? And what I mean by that is, did you guys like the fact that he wasn't his final boss character and kind of was just, I guess?
Should I be quiet on this one? Should I let the Netflix breathe and keep brewing in this era of positivity?
I'm asking.
Okay, that's a good question, Brian, because I feel like he specifically did that just because this was such a monumental thing that it was just like, let me come out here and just be the people's champ and blah 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 blah. Because it wouldn't make sense for him to come out here and be heel Rock. Oh, you jabroni, shut that! Like, he's just acknowledging everything that's going on and the monumental steps they're making. Moving to Netflix, this and that. So I think it was appropriate for what the situation was. Because, like I said, with him coming out and acknowledging Cody, blah 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 blah, all this and like being all positive, and I think it was just for that. Obviously, it wasn't to push any other storyline stuff, because even in the Roman match, I was low key I'm like, he's gonna take out Roman. I thought it was gonna happen.
We were waiting for it.
I was waiting for it because I'm like, you did all these subtle things, coming out bad blood, all this, and we've seen nothing from it, and now it just doesn't even make sense. So, I think all of that was just for this episode and for what Raw on Netflix was. So,
The Rock. What can we say about The Rock? Oh boy. It was an advertisement for Netflix, and I understand that, and it's a new era and stuff like that, and we're entering a new era. That's cool and all, but I'm tired of The Rock. I'm tired of him with these long soliloquies and him rambling on. He's incoherent. He goes from one thing to the other. He's praising Netflix. Finally, we're back to Netflix, and it's like, no, we're not. This is the first edition of that. You can't use that as yet. That part, him talking about his dad and all this other stuff, and then going back, and then it's like, it was an advertisement, and he was trying to do a sell job, and it was just like
he was winging it.
Yeah. We don't need that.
Per se. He was just winging it.
At this stage of The Rock's career, or whatever this is, or the final era, or whatever the case may be, we don't need him to wing it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And yes, it's all joyful to see The Rock out there parading around and saying a whole bunch of shit, saying bullshit, cussing in front of his kids, acknowledging Cody Rhodes, even though you beat him with a belt in the backyard. And the damn backstage and bleeding him out in front of the bus and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, it's cool that The Rock's back, but it's like at some point, this stuff has to make sense. It has to be logical. And The Rock playing different characters, if he comes out next week and then he's cussing and calling people bitches and all this other shit and being the heel, it's like, just be that. Just be that from the get-go.
We've seen Vince do that. We've seen Vince do that forever.
I mean, I would think that after this Monday that we wouldn't see The Rock for we shouldn't see The Rock for a couple of weeks. That way we can kind of let people slowly forget about the first Raw.
Why come back then?
That's that character.
But why come back then?
Come back and do this.
He's in a wrestler's role. He's not in an owner role
but again, he's also on the board now. He's also has to acknowledge. Why do you think he was naming out all these Netflix people that nobody knows who the fuck they are? And we're like,
another thing, we didn't need that because we don't care about those people.
Because obviously,
nobody.
It's not what we care. Dan just likes to complain.
I mean, primarily they wouldn't have gotten that deal without him being on the board.
Exactly. And nobody cares who those people are. Nobody.
Yeah, but you don't think with this big of a deal and being the first episode of Raw, you don't think they acknowledge everything that Netflix has allowed?
First of all, and another thing that he did, he acknowledged people, and then he was like, "Where are they? and he's pointing in the crowd, and he's like, "Oh, they're up there in the suites." Oh, he doesn't even know what these people are. Why do we care?
Was he supposed
Why
to?
do we
He was
care?
supposed to know what
This
they was
man
saying.
is making it
Don't
seem
care
like
about those people.
he's making it seem like he cut the worst promo, and he's up here just just going back and forth. And
This is the thing.
like,
The Rock comes out. He confuses everybody with a whole bunch of rambling and just positive and just energetic and just saying a whole bunch of shit. We saw this with Hollywood Rock. I don't want to see that anymore. This is supposed to be the final.
Rock.
This is supposed to be when he came out and just went into every city, just saying a whole bunch of rambling shit and just giving people shit. Cool, whatever the case may be. But in this sense, it's like now you're just being an advertisement for Netflix, which is fine. That could have been a backstage segment. We don't need 10 minutes of The Rock in the ring.
That was not going to be a backstage segment. Come on now. That would not have been a
We do not need The Rock.
You know what? It would have been better.
It had to start it hot.
If you know, what would have been better if it was like a like one of those.
If he was actually addressing stuff that was happening, yeah, that would be great.
Saying,
that would be great.
Okay, you saying that it probably would have been better if it was a backstage segment. It probably would have been better if it was like a stage promo thing, like with like how Triple H does, where he's like, "We're this, we're that," and blah 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 blah. Like,
notice how Triple H came out with concise. Notice how props to Triple H for coming out being precise, direct. He's done this when it went to SmackDown, went to Fox. He's done this when WrestleMania opened up. Thank you. Just come out and just give a direct message to the fans and then leave. The Rock comes out and does all the shit that we do not care about. That does not matter. First of all, he acknowledges Cody Rhodes. He acknowledged Cody Rhodes again.
What's wrong with that? What's right?
This whole man has caused your whole family dilemma, and now you're giving them shout out.
You act like us as the audience at this point doesn't know that obviously these people are
but
working
Lewis,
together.
at the same time, when we watch professional wrestling, we kind of want want to suspend that disbelief, even though we know.
You want to know when The Rock should have did all that. You want to know when The Rock should have did all that?
Everybody and stayed in heel Rock mode, basically.
Yes, but you want to know what The Rock should have done? He should have did all that with the promo leading up to Netflix. If he was doing interviews and stuff like that, and doing that promo work and doing interviews like that and doing those little sound bites, if he went on to ESPN and name dropped all those people, then I would understand. Then I would be like, all right, whatever the case may be. But when you take up that much time in the middle of the ring, first of all, we didn't even get the women's Intercontinental title final on this match, which probably would have been better saved for this as the first match on Monday Night Raw.
It honestly should have.
So again, The Rock taking up time rambling incoherently about shit that does not matter and shit that he shouldn't be doing. This is supposed to be the final boss Rock.
He's on the board. He's got to acknowledge his partners. All right.
There had to have been a way beforehand for him to kind of come out and a matter of fact, scratch that. There probably was no way to do that because I'm just trying to think. There had to be a way for him to come out and at least say that, like, I'm director Dwayne tonight and not the final boss. But there was no way you could have done that. So yeah. They shouldn't have had him opening the show.
The people at Netflix don't know this is professional wrestling, even though they signed a multi-year deal with him and all the stuff.
So you're just mostly upset that he broke kayfabe. That was just basically it.
There has to be some integrity here at some point. That's all I'm saying. There has to be some type
so there
of
can
integrity.
be at no point there can never be no separation.
In the promo leading up to Netflix, yes, that's where the separation should have been. Like if he was doing an ESPN appearance or something like that, or a big time Good Morning America or something like that, cool, do that. I'm fine with that. But when you're on TV,
they couldn't show these Netflix people live enjoying the show with their bells.
They could have.
Popcorn.
They could have. I don't need The Rock telling me who they are, though. Michael Cole could have did that.
Michael Cole's not on the board. He doesn't know them. They needed somebody who personally knew them, has had dinner with them, be like, hey, this is
just in the ring.
John, and this is Ben, and they all allowed us to be here on Netflix.
God damn it. I didn't want to start it with a rant, but Brian had to ask the question, and then Lewis had to piss me off. But it's all right.
He just can't enjoy the fact that this man just came out and was like, hey,
I did
this is
right
a great
up.
deal.
I did
This is something great for our product. Let's give a shout out to our current champ, Cody Rhodes.
I felt positive
who has put this
right
company on his back and is doing great work. Yeah, I might have beat his ass and I talk about his mama, but kudos to him.
Tell Mama Rhodes I say hi.
He didn't like any of that.
I was positive up until The Rock grabbed the mic. I'll say that.
I will admit, I was surprised that he was not clean shaved. This man had like some gray hair, stubble, and everything. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are we not
and he's clear.
The guy.
You can see like he's aging now. Like he's starting. Like you can see, like you look in his face, like he's like starting to age.
And I will say this: is probably the only part I didn't like about the promo is at the end when he says, "Can you smell?" And then the longest pause where I felt like no one said The Rock, and he just said, "Is cooking." And I'm like, you're supposed to say the whole thing.
Oh no! Again, this is the person that we give buys to be subpar. This is what we do. This is what we do, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired. Somebody
I'm sorry. Would you prefer to have Hulk Hogan on?
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But overall,
say about that.
Overall, it's just I'm tired of people giving The Rock a pass for subpar play. That's all. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I will say, and I'll agree with this. It's getting. I think yes, I don't mind what he did, but at the same time, it's just getting confusing.
I'll let you know what it is. I'll let you know what it is. You want to know what it is? The Rock is Chris Jericho. That's what it is. Yes, it is.
Now you're being extremely disrespectful.
Go away. We don't need to see you all the time. We don't need that.
We're not seeing Chris Jericho all the time.
Now, like you said, we don't necessarily need Rock. Chris Jericho is needed over there. Okay, like desperately.
Chris Jericho is amazing. He's the Ayatollah of rock and roller. All right.
I gotta remember that I'm dealing with wrestling fans.
He's the Nueve.
The Nueve.
I'm sorry. I gotta remember. I'm in the Ocho.
Now he's the Nueve. He's the current Ring of Honor World Champion. Like, have some respect for the man.
What is Ring of Honor? I forgot. Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor too. So
exactly.
Yeah. Right. Well, there we go. There we go. But yeah, that was the intro. And again, I didn't want to start the show off with a rant. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for whoever's watching.
Yes, he did. Yeah. There was the opening segment, and he couldn't wait to be like, "This man, this man."
No, we had to start it hot like they attempted to.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But let's keep moving on to Tribal Combat. Roman Reigns reclaiming the title of Tribal Chief in a high intense match against Solo Sikoa.
Was it
for the Ula Fala?
Is that how you say it?
But what do you guys make of this match of Roman Reigns retaining, I guess, the title? Is this the equivalent of the $1 million belt?
Just Ula Fala? I mean, yeah, pretty for the most. I think for the most part. I mean, but like Lewis just said when Daniel was describing the match, I think this is the second Tribal Combat match where it just didn't feel like Tribal Combat. I mean, this was pretty much your basic ass no disqualification match.
Yeah,
you use the stairs, you got the tables. There was nothing that they did that stood out from any other no disqualification match that has been done. So I mean, and then obviously at the very end you had the storytelling with everybody coming out. I mean, pretty much this finish was pretty much a lesser version of the WrestleMania finish with Cody and Roman. If you really think about it.
See, I would have preferred if they would have stuck to what they said. Leave your crew in the back. I'll leave my crew. Like if it would, I feel like it would have meant more if it was a legit one-on-one. Straight up, whoever.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because like the whole everybody coming in, going back and forth, like we've been seeing that for weeks. And it's
We've
just
been
like
seeing that.
we need to see it again for the third.
Honestly,
fifth time
honestly, if we're going to be real, we've been seeing it the whole bloodline story.
exactly.
Yeah, I feel the whole Bloodline storyline. And, like, not for yeah, I don't even know why the hell we even thought it was gonna end up being one on one. We
The only extra plus was KO came out to fight Roman. Yeah, that makes sense.
With the bloodline that took him out, he shouldn't be wanting to team with anyone. In retrospect,
exactly. In retrospect.
And my whole thing is like now, okay, Solo loses that. Is his faction just not the bloodline anymore? Are they basically joining Roman now? Are they all just
street trash? That is what they upgrade. That's what they downgraded to. Street trash.
Jacob Fatu is far from street trash. All right, don't you dare.
Hey, if you associate with trash,
he'll be fine. I don't know about everybody else though, because think about it. What do you do with Solo now? I mean, you're no longer the tribal chief. I mean, your chapter of the story is essentially done right now. So what exactly?
And this is why I think Solo honestly probably should have kept it. It would still keep him relevant, and I don't know. It was just.
It's just a weird place because now it's like, what does everybody else do? Because everyone, you have legitimately 4 people stuck in limbo right now. Even Jake Fatu, even though we think he's going to be all right and figure it out, but everybody else is just kind of in limbo because of with this loss. And it's like, how did that help? I mean, again, if we're looking at the grand scheme of things,
what does it even lead to?
It leads to the next thing, which is Roman versus Rock. It has to be. There can't be anything else.
For what reason?
The Rock wants to
given no reason at all.
The Rock now takes over as the place of Solo Sikoa, and he challenges Roman for the Ulafala at WrestleMania 41. He has to.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm not against that, but it's like. This is why I was like, why not attack Roman now? Why not give us something to grab, or even the smallest minute of, everybody was going crazy, originally when Paul Heyman came back, he's wearing the red, he's actually working with Solo, or I see people, Heyman's actually working with Rock. They've never addressed the 2 phones, this and that. It's just like, you've gotten nothing. Okay,
and I think that's where it was because they wanted something big for Netflix, and that's where it took place. I think that's what it is. Because if anything, if it was on it was on the SmackDown, if it was at the Rumble, something definitely would have happened. But I think because it was Netflix, they needed a big match, and that's where they plugged in. But it's like
they needed Roman on the card, basically.
Yeah, and I don't like them shuffling things like that. Just put them in a tag match. like I don't know. What do you guys make of the ending? Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I was just gonna say as an aside, Rock is a high chief now. I mean, I think on his Instagram post that I told you guys to go watch, Rock was given a high chief title. They showed him realistically within the story, you could do high chief versus tribal chief, and Rock won in the Ulafala, like Daniel said.
But it's just like. Just the way they're doing it, and I understand it, but I feel like WWE, the past couple PLEs, have been rushing a couple things that they should have just dropped the breadcrumbs to and kind of lingered on and dragged out a little bit more. But I thought the match was okay. It is what it is. It's a standard Roman Reigns match. You're going to get your interference and stuff like that, which I'm like, I agree with Lewis. It should have just been a one-on-one. And maybe that would have got Solo over a little bit more because it would have showed he's able to stand on his own 2 feet and able to stand up to Roman at XYZ. Even with his past run, I think that probably would have gotten him over a little bit more. But just looking at it, it's just like we just want to end to the story.
Or at least know where The Rock fits into this damn story. Like,
I mean, well, you guys were fine with him, talking to Netflix executives in the crowd and waving.
It was nice.
He didn't tell us he was going to be director Dwayne and not the final boss.
Exactly.
But what do you guys make of The Rock coming out and giving the Ula fall at the Roman and acknowledging him again, right? In a sense, like, where does that lead? And it's like, was that necessary right now?
Jono say. That's all I got to say.
I mean, everybody and their mama was just waiting for it to happen, just waiting. And when Roman turns once, puts his hand up, turns the second time.
I was just waiting for him. Bam!
And I wonder if they just didn't do it because everybody was expecting it. But that's the way it came off. Like everybody was expecting it, so we're not going to do it here.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
Maybe they're saving it for the Rumble. I don't know. Maybe that's where we get the screw you. Maybe
I know.
Will appear.
That's what I'm thinking, because just looking at the Royal Rumble, we're going to get into John Cena in a minute, but just looking at the Royal Rumble, The Rock's got to be in the Royal Rumble, right?
I don't think he'll be in the Rumble. I think he will be in there to screw Roman from winning. And that will lead to the whole that'll be like, well, I'm the high chief, but you're calling yourself the chief, and that's the only other route I can think of as of now. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah. If The Rock and Roman are in the Rumble, you got John Cena in the Rumble, which we're going to get into in a minute. You start putting all these guys in there, it's going to make it interesting. And I would love to see The Rock come in. He's on the board, right? He's the head of the WWE XYZ, right? Make himself number 30. That would be something to think about. But that was Tribal Combat again. What was that? The first one was Jay and Roman, right? At SummerSlam, a couple SummerSlams ago. So
that was a great match.
Long ass. But even that one, there was nothing special about. It was a great match, but there was nothing special about it that makes.
Yeah. It was just a standard match. It
was a standard no disqualification match.
Yeah,
and that opened up the show. But let's get into more here on Raw on Netflix. John Cena's last run. He came out addressing the crowd. What do you guys make of that? And him basically saying that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
John Cena. I can't not say it anymore. It's like it's in my mind now.
It's a thing. I mean, I think I said it in the chat. Like I said, I mean, this is a guy that, like, that in his prime, when he was a babyface and he was Super Cena and C Nation, people hated this guy. Like, or people like, oh, this man hated this guy. Now it's back to Dr. Thugonomic days, and when he coming out getting these old massive.
But again, it's kind of like Dan said. We don't see John Cena like that anymore. We see him 1-2 times a year. And it's maybe once a year. Obviously, because it's his, like, they've been promoting, it's his final run. We gotta appreciate everything John has given us. As much as we probably hated him, and here we go, he wins again, he gets the title again, he's beating this, he beats Randy, him and Randy, blah blah blah. It was just like, give us something fucking new. But you know, he's at the end of the career, and it's just like, look at how long this guy has been doing this, and it's like, how do you not appreciate the body of work at this point?
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing about John Cena is, like, when I mentioned my god brother and my brother who watched it like in the 90s, they can talk about like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock from the standpoint. They can remember Steve Austin as the ringmaster and watching that. They can remember The Rock when he came in as Rocky Maivia, like remembering watching Survivor Series. Obviously, we weren't born, or we were damn near 2 or 3 years old, so obviously we couldn't remember that. But with John Cena, like we remember his debut with Kurt Angle. I remember watching that SmackDown as a kid, him wrestling Kurt Angle. I remember how he used to look wearing those
lock.
Yeah, or even before that, when he was Ruthless Aggression Cena, wearing those tights and boots with the colors of whatever city he was in. But before he was Dr. Thugonomics, and then he became Dr. Thugonomics, and then with everything. So we really followed John Cena throughout his whole entire career since we were like 12, 13 years old. So we have vivid memory of all of those moments, watching all of those SmackDowns, and eventually coming over to Raw. So it's definitely going to be something to look forward to. And he's a favorite to win the Rumble. I know on a lot of these fake sheets that they've been putting out, they've had him as the winner. And a lot of predictions are saying, "Oh, he might face Cody, he might face Gunther." Obviously, the Gunther one makes the most sense to me. Which, by the way, I like the package that they did on him, but he should have been there. They should have had him there.
Should have been there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they keep keeping him away. It's like
I don't.
So
this is the thing. This is but again, this is what you guys wanted. You guys wanted The Rock on the beginning of the show, blabbering about anything else.
I'm sorry. Brian, were we advocating for The Rock?
Why would you put the world heavyweight champion of your brand on Raw on Netflix? Why would you put him on there in person?
But I'm saying,
why would you do that,
Brian? Were we advocating for The Raw to be here? I mean, last time I checked, I don't think we said any of that.
Yeah,
I think you guys have given The Rock a pass, like you guys always. But let's talk. Well, it is what it is. You guys,
because he was nice. You can't accept good in the world.
Positivity, power of positivity, right?
There's no more power of positivity. All right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
they made an appearance as well. But speaking about John Cena, it was nice. Barely. It was nice to see him out there. And this is going to be the last run, right? Like, this is it. So I think it's very important just to appreciate what he's done. As Brian said, we remember when he came in as the guy that ushered in ruthless aggression, right? Against Kurt Angle all those years ago. And he's still going. He's still going to give it one final run. We remember the lock and the throwback jerseys and stuff like that and the wraps and stuff. So we've seen Cena, Word Life, come out and just be constant. Right. And he was kind of the guy that kind of ushered in this new era and stuff of just basically paving the groundwork for this new era. And for him to do that and put in one last run, I'm not mad at it. John Cena in the Rumble, I'm not mad at it. If we get a couple more John Cena matches, I still remember we all remember his United States title run where he kind of came back. He kind of came back and gave to the business, right, in terms of that and just putting on good matches and getting other guys over. So it was like he paid his dues back, right? It wasn't like he just took everything like when he was Super Cena and stuff like that and getting the wins all the time. So to see this era, I think that's what's add to it because it's like we appreciate John and what he's done. And if this is his last run, I can't wait to see what they do. He's trying to go after number 17, that big brass ring in the sky. We'll see if he can do it. It starts at the Rumble.
So my question,
yeah, go ahead.
My quick, sorry, I'll let you go, Brian. But my quick question: is he only wrestling this whole year, or is he wrestling until next year's Mania?
I think it's only this year because I think he had made it clear after he made the announcement in a press conference that it was going to be just this year, and that whatever the last show in December was, that was going to be it. Because he even said that WrestleMania 41 is going to be his last WrestleMania performing. So yeah,
you would think WrestleMania would be like the finale, but
you would think so. I would think so too, because just like that's where it should end, right? Like go on your shield then. But
man, he'll probably have his send off at the end of the year. But then they'll probably do something special for him at that next WrestleMania 42, and then they'll really give him
probably a Hall of Fame or whatever. All that.
Probably put him in the Hall of Fame. Right.
They just usher it in right away.
They're gonna put him in the Hall. Have him be the only inductee that year.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. No, but I mean, again, this is another thing too. They need to sell, right? They're bringing people like The Rock and stuff like that. You bring in John Cena. Obviously, if he comes to WrestleMania, he's going to wrestle at SummerSlam. He's going to wrestle at the Big Four. So I think that's the idea behind it. It's going to be awesome. And then they can market, even maybe do a Saturday night main event of his last match or whatever the case may be, or whatever they're going to do in December. It's going to be cool to see, and I can't wait to see it, man. Can't wait to see it. Let's continue on here. Rhea Ripley regains her women's title over Liv Morgan. This has been a long time coming. We have been dealing with this love triangle for a long time with Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dom Mysterio. And it looks like hopefully this is what people are saying, that it's probably over with that decisive win. What do you guys make of her matchup and where this potentially leads Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan for that matter?
Daniel, not probably, definitely, and hopefully. Those are the 2 words you should be using. As far as the match goes itself, it was a very good match. Very similar to the other matches that they've worked in the past.
Mhm.
I'm glad Rhea Ripley came out on top. I'm glad this feud is over. I was the one that initially, when Rhea Ripley got hurt, had said that, okay, they got a little story now with Liv, and the fact that they pushed it this far with this Liv Morgan revenge tour.
Whoa. So this is your fault.
I put it out there. I said, like, they got stuff. They have a little story. Apparently, Triple H heard me, and he rolled that all the way to the end.
Long-term booking, but it's
a little too far.
But it ended up. But now Liv is a legitimate contender now in the women's division. Now you don't look at her the same anymore. Now you can look at her and say, as a former champion, like, now you can put Liv Morgan in a feud and not necessarily be concerned that her name won't live up to it, in a sense. So 2024 was her year. I'm glad that Rhea Ripley came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
The Undertaker appearance at the very end. I can understand wanting to put Undertaker on the show. I'm still trying to figure out what the connection was between him and Rhea Ripley.
Was that a way for him to get cheered?
Cheered?
Yes. With the recent going-ons, and we're going to get into Hulk Hogan later, you think that was a safety net because no one was going to boo Rhea Ripley?
No.
Because there's no connection. There's no connection between Rhea Ripley and him. What?
It's
tattoo?
Why do you think he came out as the American Badass? Because everybody calls Rhea a badass. It's literally hand in hand.
They also call Braun Breaker the badass too. So
was he on the show? Was he on the show?
He was in the crowd.
Oh, you want The Rock to ride up to him and raise his hand? Like, come on now.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand the connection.
Look at Rhea's whole moniker. It's dark leather.
That's literally the only comparison, just because their monikers are dark.
Was she in the Ministry of Darkness?
Yo,
what did he come out as?
There's no connection.
Did he come out as that? He came out as the American Badass. You're nitpicking.
When's the last time we saw Rhea Ripley ride a bike? Never. Never. There's no connection.
On her Instagram.
Here's the connection. They're both white.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. I would have rather had Becky,
black hair, apparently.
I would have rather had Becky Lynch come out and just stand in front of her.
What? For what?
To challenge her. What are we talking about?
No. See,
you're right. I will say you're right. But again, who is synonymous with wrestling? The Undertaker.
There was another guy synonymous with wrestling. There was another guy synonymous with wrestling. Why didn't they bring him out?
Huh?
Okay.
There's another guy that was synonymous with wrestling. Why didn't they bring him out?
I don't know why. Do I work there? I don't fucking work there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not an intern. I don't got my ears to the ground.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I wish.
I'll say this as far as Undertaker goes. I don't think he needed to be by Rhea Ripley in order to get cheered because even though they were in Los Angeles, at the end of the day, the Undertaker's not a racist piece of shit. The other dude was.
Exactly.
Right? So even though Undertaker has his beliefs, there are a lot of those top guys on the roster that have the same beliefs that he does, and they're still over as hell. Like AJ Styles is a devoted Republican, and people love him. Like he's open with it too. So I don't think Undertaker necessarily needed to be by Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I just think people know it's the Undertaker, and we love the Undertaker.
For me, I took it as Rhea's a badass. That's why he came out as the American Badass. Come on now, like she's always been this rocker, leather, whatever. Like, come on, all freaking Taker has worn the last 10 years was black leather coats and all that shit. So it just made sense for me. Like,
I'm just saying, does this start?
Badass one comes out in a motorcycle, give her the nod like, "Yo, you a badass too."
Does this give Rhea Ripley like some type of Undertaker power? Does she start her WrestleMania streak now? Is this what you're saying?
Maybe this will transform her into the female Undertaker, the Aussie Taker, the Aussie Taker. There we go.
Is that the Aussie? Okay, all right, Lewis. All right,
She's from down under.
Okay,
the female Ministry of
She's
Darkness.
from down under.
She gets
but
Gigi
under the
Darlin and
ground.
Alba Fire and Ilya Dawn, and they start their female.
The ministry of foreign fire.
I would like a heel Rhea Ripley. I would like that.
Yeah,
So
she's had this chase run for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Good foresight, Lewis. I guess good foresight.
I got booking ideas.
You stumbled your way into that one. I'll give you that. But what do we think? What's next for Liv Morgan in the Judgment Day, for that matter? And
she needs to go.
I was just gonna say, I was just about to say the same thing. One of them needs to go over to SmackDown. They both don't need to be on the same brand anymore for a while. I mean, it's been a full year. It's probably gonna end up being Liv that moves over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
I mean, it just has to happen.
And split up her and Dom.
Why wouldn't Dom just go?
I mean, it's probably gonna be Judgment Day moving over to SmackDown. I mean, right after this street fight next week with Finn Balor,
Damian Priest.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean,
I don't know what happens. I don't know what they do with her right now. I don't know what the next move is, and that's why I just asked.
You got all these new titles. You got the U.S. and Intercontinental titles. That's literally.
I mean, by all means, she's entitled to a rematch. She's entitled to a rematch.
No,
she probably will get one more.
They made it clear in the build-up, like this is it. This is like,
I don't think so.
This needs to end.
I think they just sold that. I think they just did it again, sold it for Netflix, because wasn't this originally supposed to be a last woman standing match or something?
I think I think they're gonna save that probably for the Rumble.
They got to do something.
It should be a last woman standing match.
Because even though that was a decisive win for Rhea Ripley, she is entitled to a rematch clause.
But they haven't fully brought those back anymore, though. It's been a while since the rematch clauses have been a thing. So, I mean, logically, yeah, you can have her until, because who else would face Rhea at this point?
Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, but obviously they'll save that. I think Becky Lynch and Rhea can happen before Mania, and then Charlotte can come back or whatever the case. But
that would be fire, because obviously with how Rhea beat Charlotte those years ago, and
it's a match that sells itself, and then that can be kind of like the women's division of Rock versus Austin. Because
aren't they kind of one? They're 1-1, right?
Yeah, that can be like the Rock versus Austin type of thing for the female division.
I'm not gonna lie, I always hated that Charlotte beat Rhea that first time during COVID. I was like, how did you do this?
Because we were thinking even at that time, Charlotte needed to lose. Like, she can afford a loss. Like, at that point in time, like
she was still in NXT. She was the NXT champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Times. But if that's a trifecta, a match that they can get out the way, I'm for it.
That story writes itself. That's a Mania worthy rematch. Like,
Triple H, if you're listening, just do that. And then for WrestleMania 42, you can do Rhea versus Bianca and stop hiding that in the shadows of them never facing each other. I'm afraid that they're doing that kind of like John Cena versus like Undertaker. Like, they've never faced each other outside of like that one time, like way back young, and then they did it at WrestleMania, like when Undertaker was retired and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just like they got to do that match. That match is sitting there forever, and it's like we gotta explore that at some point. At some point. Let's continue moving on here. Jey Uso pulls out the win against Drew McIntyre in a highly contested matchup. What did you guys think about the entrances with Travis Scott? Of course.
So much for trying to be a children's show, huh?
That's the thing, because it said it was PG rated at the start of the show. It said PG.
Family fun entertainment, right? Okay.
I mean, is marijuana not legal? Is that not something that's normal and allowed?
For the kids, Lewis. For the kids, Lewis.
Maybe
a gummy. Maybe a gummy.
Let me come out and just pop a gummy.
No, that was just wild.
I honestly want to know if that he was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna light some shit right now because this is a crazy moment, or if he was just like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna do this. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, this motherfucker's really lighting the blunt right now. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, Jay was on the post show and he said he caught contact high.
I don't know what they were expecting with that.
Just me.
Didn't Triple H was like? Didn't Triple H say he was glad he didn't grab the blunt or something like that?
He said some shit like that.
He's lucky it wasn't a full one either. That shit was like halfway down.
I was like that. I'm like, I don't know if that was necessary. I don't know. I mean, I do understand he did the theme song. He did the theme song for Raw, right? So I understand that he had to make an appearance. But I'm like, is that something that you wanted to have? But overall, it happened. What do you guys make of the match and Jey Uso picking up the win? I was surprised by that. Jey Uso picking up the win. I was surprised because Drew McIntyre has been on this rampage and coming back. Mm-hmm. And it's like he picked up the loss, and I'm like, why would you have him lose?
I think it's because of that, because he's been running through everybody. He hasn't been having really one-on. I mean, he had a one-on-one match with Sammy, I guess.
Sammy hasn't beaten him yet.
Yeah, and but he's been taking out everybody else. Obviously, took out Jimmy, took out Jay, Roman. You know, was it Roman? I don't know, but I think just because Jay is super hot right now, and it was that show, I feel they were like, we can kind of give him this like
in the introduction with Travis Scott,
he stole a win, type thing. It wasn't like he beat him clean and took him out. It was just like, no, I caught you with like a sneaky pin, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, I have no problem because obviously Drew's still hot. Drew's still this big ass heel right now. And
whoa. Is he? He's losing. Is he? If he's losing,
oh man,
it's his first loss.
He lost to CM Punk, and he beat Sami Zayn, who he already beat thousands of times. That's no. I mean,
he did. He's beating Punk though. Like, isn't there's?
Hey, the last time we saw him, he got pinned.
Wait, hasn't he lost 2 to Punk? Because he lost. Oh no. Did he beat him at SummerSlam in that?
He beat him at SummerSlam.
Drew beat him at SummerSlam, and then
what was that match though? The one where he has to touch all the rings.
Yeah, the bull rope match. The Texas Bull Rope match. Punk won that one, and then Punk won Hell in a Cell.
Oh, so he's beat him twice then, right?
Yeah. Punk
so you want to know what that means? He's a loser again.
Yeah, here we
are with Drew McIntyre. Being a loser. This man signed a contract to be the man, and all of a sudden he just comes back and just loses. He just puts people over. That's the issue I have with this run with Drew McIntyre.
He only put Punk over. Leave him alone.
I mean, Jay
put Jay also over just now.
I mean, Jay kind of stole it, but yeah.
Yeah, he stole it. He didn't put him over.
What do they count? What do they count? What do they count in wrestling? Wins and losses.
Since when? It's not AEW.
I was just about to say they tried that shit over there
for a second, and it shit didn't last.
A couple of times.
There was something like a retro picture of like WWE in like 2005, 2006 when they did the rankings. I don't know if you guys saw that. Remember when they used to do the rankings of the people, like this guy's number 1 this week and all this other shit?
On WWE.com?
Yeah. And that was a thing on Raw versus SmackDown back in the day in GM mode.
Yeah, the good
But
old
no,
days.
man, I was just surprised Jey Uso picked up the win. I was just surprised. Let's keep moving on to probably my favorite part of the evening.
Oh yeah, this.
Hulk Hogan booed out the building.
All right. Daniel, before you even go, I think it's only right we let Lewis go first on this one since he's kind of had it out for Hulk Hogan for how many episodes ago was it with the GOAT bracket? Almost a year ago. I mean,
justification. The truth will come to light. Boo this man. Boo. Boo this man.
Oh man,
Hulk
they were
Hogan
not ready for that.
He
They were
is
not ready for
done.
that. They were not ready for that.
This man literally tried to come out and promote his stupid trash beer and thought he was going to get praised for nothing.
I mean, he had to have known with the crap that he's done lately, the fact of where they were and what he said and what he stands for and how allegedly he fired a black influencer that was working for his beer company without even realizing that she was black or whatever that situation is. You would think that he would have known that, like, going into this, they're like, yeah, they might not fuck with me like that anymore. You know, he really think the wrestling persona was just gonna overtake everything again. Like,
yes,
like,
because he's delusional, and he's been delusional his whole wrestling career. Yes,
but yet you put him on this pedestal. And he's the greatest. He was the best. No,
he still has his place in history as far as
I think, even though
start erasing that place in history. That's
even though I believe Macho Man is
giant pencil eraser from SpongeBob and go get him out of here.
Even though I believe Macho Man is better, Hulk Hogan does have his place in wrestling.
Macho Man is better. And look at the craziness Macho Man went through, and people adore Macho Man.
Yeah, and people don't even fuck with Hulk Hogan so much. He even tried to use Macho Man's name to get to evoke something from the crowd, and they weren't buying it. And
it was dead on arrival.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even hear what he said. I heard I had a tag team partner. I don't hear my beer.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard it, but for a second, it sounded like Pat McAfee was gonna say something, but then he said he was gonna say something, but then he stopped immediately. They should just let him go.
It was so bad. Like, I just enjoyed it because I was like, wait a minute, are they booing him? And they just kept booing him, and it kept getting louder and louder. And Jimmy Hart's standing there with the flag, and I'm like, oh, poor Jimmy Hart.
Damn, I know that sucks for Jimmy. Like, damn.
I'm like, poor Jimmy Hart, the mouth of the South, the guy that created all these WWF songs and did all the stuff.
Instantly regretted. He's like, why did they put me with him? I get it.
At this stage,
same era, but
like,
come
damn.
on.
It's like damn. It's like you're almost like you wanted Jimmy to come out again just by himself. That way, that way we just acknowledge it.
You guys were booing him, right? Not me.
Exactly.
Him, not me.
Yo, I
just live in the South. Okay, I just live in the South.
It's weird because like when you think about like X-Pac Heat or Dom Heat, it's because that's a wrestling character and stuff like that. That was legitimate hate.
Yeah,
no, we're done with this guy.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I haven't been following a lot of what he's been doing. Like, obviously, I'll see stuff here and there, like he's all for Trump and his political views. But like the stuff that Brian was saying, like I haven't heard anything. I haven't been following.
I actually just heard about that recently. Apparently,
so
allegedly that.
But you know, it's funny because like obviously on this podcast I was saying so like, you know, this stuff is public. It's not new, and you know
it's not new.
It's not new. And then you know they slowly reintroduced him and still use him for little spots here and there. But I was honestly still really shocked that they booed the fuck out of him, and I was like, "Oh, did y'all hear me? Did y'all listen to what I was saying?"
It was crazy because it's like no one expected. I did not expect that. I thought
didn't.
Hulk Hogan. When I heard the song, I was like, "Oh no, it's Hulk Hogan."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all you heard was just this rain of boos.
Yeah. See, I knew something was off because Sousa's music. Because when you hear Hulk Hogan come out for years, when you hear his music play at a certain point, you're thinking like that you're gonna hear the crowd. So I knew something was off when his music played, and I'm like, normally this is a pop. Hold up, what is going on here? Then when his music turned off, I'm like, oh god,
pure destruction.
Yeah, that was
pure destruction.
That was hate.
Like hatred.
That wasn't no storyline. That was hate. Like no.
And you want to know what? And you want to know what? I loved every 3 minutes of it.
I saw comments. There was like people were just like, he's just trying to push through this. Like, listen here, brother, and you know I had a tag team partner and my beer.
What was he gonna do?
It was just like, hey, you reap what you sow, man.
Like it was crazy. It was crazy, man. And it's just like it's funny because after that they showed the promo for Saturday night's main event in San Antonio, and I'm like, they can't use him going forward for that. They have to change that up. It's like just use Shawn Michaels, use Jesse the Body.
Exactly.
Use Jesse the Body or something.
He definitely won't be in any promotion. Like like I said in the chat, more than likely he'll be there, but now he has to be a backstage segment or something because you can't have him out there. Well, talking about you said San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Well, it is Texas.
That's why I said he might be okay.
Maybe you could try it.
He might be okay in Texas. So you might be okay, but who knows? Who knows? But I loved every minute of him getting booed, and we'll see what happens with Hulk Hogan. Is that the last time we see him, or he makes more appearances?
I hope so.
We don't. I think at this point of our lives, we never need to see Hulk Hogan ever again. It's over. It's done.
Why are you trying to kill Hulkamania, Brian? Why are you guys trying to?
Like I said,
Let's hear your defense, Daniel. Let's hear why you're defending.
I'm still gonna say this. He's still a top 15 WWE superstar of all time.
Stop it.
Regardless.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop it.
I'm just saying. He made the go bracket, Lewis. You can't argue facts.
Yeah, bro, you get like he's a piece
Two
of shit.
self-hating black men. How does a Hispanic man defend the others and then these two?
We're not defending the person or what he did.
Lose if that's the case, then why don't you push for Eddie Guerrero to be in the go bracket then?
Of course I did.
Did you?
Of course I did.
Did you?
He did.
I don't recall this.
I did.
He did. He just didn't have enough. He didn't have enough titles. He didn't have enough titles.
Taken too soon.
He would have had a couple. But, but yeah, I loved every minute of Hulk Hogan getting booed. And thank you, California, for doing that. Thank you, guys. But let's keep moving on to the main event of the evening. CM Punk wins round 1 against Seth Rollins in a highly contested bout. What do you guys make of this matchup and this highly intense battle that they went through on Monday Night Raw?
Great match.
Like I was like, this is a pay-per-view match. This is different. That was different. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm giving CM Punk his props. The man is still, I don't know what it is. It's like he looks in better condition now than whatever the hell he did in AEW. I don't know.
He's bulked up.
46 years old. I mean, he said that in the post interview conference. 46 years old, and people still can't touch him. Like, I mean, it was that good of a performance. I mean, I love the finishing sequence. I think I saw on Facebook some people comparing it to the match he had at All Out with the
John Moxley.
Moxley. It was just kind of like the obviously connection with the Shield. So obviously that's how he beat Shield members. So I thought that was a very interesting. And I mean, at the end, trading finishers, with the stomps and the GTSs. I mean, you could definitely tell, obviously that these guys kind of put the hatred aside and kind of were professional and end up having a tremendous match for it. But I do think they have to run this back. I mean, we need a, if not a trilogy, something a bit more than that, but something. But it was a great match. I initially was surprised because I think initially going into the show, I thought Roman and Solo were going to main event because of Roman, but definitely loved the decision to go with Punk and Rollins here because it was this match.
It was the right move.
It was the right move, definitely.
But I just thought I was impressed by Seth Rollins in this match. I thought he was actually going to win. I made a prediction that Becky Lynch was going to come out and low blow him and turn heel, and it didn't happen. So too. Why not do something epic like that and have a heel Becky Lynch again? Why not do that? I would have loved that. It didn't happen, but I just thought this was a great back and forth matchup, and these guys going at each other, and they were exhausted. And I'm like, this is a pay-per-view match. That's how good it was. I was impressed by both those guys, and CM Punk pulling off the win. I was surprised by that. Again, I thought Seth was a one, but that was just a great match. I don't know what else to say about it. I thought it was great back and forth, and just one more of this. I hope they get a match at Mania. Whatever it is. And I know they're thinking about and again, maybe I don't know if CM Punk's going to win the Rumble or whatever capacity that is or what's happening, but it's like we need Seth Rollins versus CM Punk again. We saw CM Punk and Drew have that trilogy. We need a trilogy with Seth. We need that as well.
Just as a side, I think we are going to get that Seth Rollins heel turn real soon, and that's probably what's going to be
it's gotta happen.
No, it's going to happen, and that's going to be the change in dynamic for the second match, and Seth working as a heel. So definitely, so if anything, WrestleMania,
he's going to bring back the cinder block.
Gouging people's eyes out.
Oh,
is he going to be the Monday Night Messiah again? I mean. Realistically, I thought that gimmick was good. I mean, I like it.
It was wasted on COVID. It was really wasted on COVID.
Exactly, it was wasted during COVID.
And it's kind of funny because it was kind of like CM Punk with the Straight Edge Society. It was kind of like that as well. So another thing CM Punk can be like, you copied from me and you're not original and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully we get more of that match. But that will do it for Raw on Netflix. But let's get into our final segment here. Our hot take predictions of the year. Brian came up with this before the show, and it's kind of put us on the spot here to make a hot take prediction for the year of something that's going to happen. I have something. I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I finally take off these glasses, and Cody Rhodes turns heel. Finally take off these glasses full time.
Yeah, can you?
And Cody Rhodes turns heel. It's got to happen. You got to find a way to turn around and create. I
see it happening, just not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what needs. I don't know. I don't know if Roman needs to go away or whatever, but I don't know. There has to be some huge catalyst for Cody turning, because right now he's still the biggest babyface right now. Who else is a bigger babyface than him right now?
In that position, that can be in that position.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough because if you made a babyface,
a lot of pure golden baby faces like us.
If you made it, if you had babyface Sami Zayn again in that momentum, maybe.
Yeah. He's not getting pushed in that position anytime soon.
I just want Cody Rhodes to turn heel. I like his work, but I feel like they're
clamoring for it. That we want the Homelander, we want the you people need me, all this stuff, and I would love it. I just don't think it's I don't know.
And you want to know what? You want to know what? You want to know what will put it over the top? Bring in Brandy Rhodes.
No.
Yes.
The fact that you're saying no, that's the reason why you bring him in, because you don't want to see her. Therefore, you're gonna hate him. You're gonna hate him.
I do not want to see black bitch promos. All right, I don't want to see that.
What? Why don't you want to see black bitch promos?
Oh, so cringe.
So
cringe. I didn't
Maybe
even
she.
see that promo live. I saw that on YouTube, and I was like, "She really said that?" That Jesus Christ.
Are you talking about the promo with Jade? That one in AEW?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was a little excessive with that.
Whoa! There's some correlation there. They have a relationship in the history.
I'll go next. I don't know if it's really a hot take, but I think Cena's going to get that title.
I think Cena's going to get number 17.
I think he's going to get the 17th.
At some point, he will. I think he will too.
Yeah, I see it either like a SummerSlam or close. Maybe not close to the end of the year, but
his last match.
But I see a SummerSlam win, something like that. And like a short reign, and then dropping the title before the end of the year.
Or maybe he has a 6-month reign and drops it at the end of the year. He carries the title.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, what's your prediction, Brian?
All right. So so mine is not WWE; it's AEW related.
All right.
Here we go.
And it's similar to Lewis. I don't know if it's really like a hot take per se, but by the end of the year, Darby Allin is going to be AEW World Champion.
Nope.
Yeah.
What?
Darby Allin is going to win the AEW World Championship by the end of the year, and it's gonna happen at their biggest show. Whatever, I think it's All In Texas or whatever it is. Yeah, Darby Allin is going to be world champion. He's been there from the very beginning. He's an AEW original. He's in this. I think he's in this storyline right now with John Moxley. He's currently out right now because he got thrown down a stairwell. But eventually, when he comes back as the leader of AEW, he's going to be the one to beat Moxley for the title, and he will be a world champion in 2025. Calling it now.
This 5'8" Spike Dudley is going to be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I love Darby Allin. No disrespect to Darby Allin, but they're going to put the strap on him.
Yes, they are. The man is charismatic, even though he takes too many damn risks to count. But it's pretty much. This is pretty much if Sting and Jeff Hardy had a baby. You got Darby Allin.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, that's the statement of the year.
Yeah.
But I just
feel as though with this whole, even though they've presented it poorly with this Death Rider storyline, I think eventually it just makes more sense for him as the underdog to be the one to take.
You know what's crazy is I honestly see Orange Cassidy becoming champion before him.
See,
that's what I was thinking.
See, I would have believed that, but just the fact that he did get that one-on-one match already, and he already did come up short, and then he was in the Fatal 4-Way at World's End, and then he lost that too. It's just like at this point, it's just like if they were gonna do it with Orange Cassidy,
for him to win, it has to be a really good underdog story, because where he's at right now is just like, he's just like, oh, I'm trying to get revenge, blah blah blah. Like it has to, like they have to like either completely brutalize him and like knock him down so many pegs that it's just like, all right, they really like destroyed him. Now you got to give him a really good underdog story. That's the only way he's gonna win the title. So I don't know if they can get some type of reaction behind him like that, I'll believe it. But at this point, I don't really see it.
All right.
Yeah,
and I got one more, but it's kind of like a funny hot take. I don't know, and Lewis is not going to agree with it at all. But it's kind of a funny hot take. Also, by the end of 2025, Natalya is going to be a champion again.
Yes.
That's a wrap.
No.
I'm
Whether it's the mid-card title, one of the world titles, or even as a tag team champion, Natalya is going to win the title again in 2025.
It has to happen. It's in her lineage, Lewis. It's in her lineage. She has to. It's okay.
Her time is up. Her time is not now.
Oh wait, so John Cena can win number 17,
Yep.
but Natalya can't win another title.
Are you seriously gonna stand there and compare John Cena and Natalya?
Whoa. I'm just gonna say this. She doesn't have as many championships, but who has more wins?
John Cena.
No, she's the greatest of all. She has the most wins in WWE history.
Yeah.
Or is it matches?
I wouldn't believe that
from
from all the wins she's racked up in these past few years.
You just got to be a little bit more respectable towards legends. Mm-hmm. That's
Oh.
all I'm saying, Los.
Oh yeah,
That's-
you talking about respectable? It's showing all the respect to Hulk Hogan, right?
Whoa. Again, his place in wrestling is respected. Him as a person is a piece of shit. They're two completely different things.
Tomatoes.
You separate the man from you separate the man from the artistry.
No, you don't. No, you don't. How dare you?
You separate the man. Yeah, that's what we're trying.
You know how people always
He's
try
a
to get away from
complete
that.
racist, but he was a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you watch that one video of him in Japan, when he's doing hurricanranas and doing lockups and stuff like that, instead of doing the eye rake and the back rake and stuff like that,
back rake, Jesus Christ.
But no, man, those are a couple good predictions from us. And we're looking forward to the new year, heading into the Royal Rumble. Now it's the road to the Royal Rumble again, I guess. So we'll see what happens with that leading into that, and next week's Raw on Netflix, which is going to be a regular thing, which should be fun to watch. Picking up on SmackDown, of course, and all that other stuff. But as always, thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, always kick it on 2.